So guys, what's going on? Guys, I've done many videos about this, and someone's asked me. Apparently, in the world boxing news, Floyd Mayweather gave a interview, and he said, "I'm not going to fight Manny Pacquiao. I'm not interested in a Manny Pacquiao rematch." He basically said he was asked about it, about him fighting Manny Pacquiao, and he just said, "I'm not interested. My faculties are more important to me. If you talk about me fighting exhibitions and MMA guys, am I gonna fight those guys?" He goes, "Absolutely." Because they're basically trying to insist that it's easy paydays and easy money. Listen, I like Floyd Mayweather. Listen, I've never disliked him. He's never been my kind of guy in the sense that some of the stuff that he does, but fair play to him. He's had a great career and a great fighter, one of the greatest ever. But in terms of him fighting Manny Pacquiao, we'd all watch it. But I think we've all resigned to the fact that he's not fighting him. Someone's asked me to do a video on it. And Mayweather and Pacquiao, even though they're at the end of their career, they're about to finish, they're always hot news, especially when Mayweather talks about Pacquiao or Pacquiao talks about Mayweather. It's always big news because of the names, the stars that they are, and what they achieved in their boxing careers. We always have to talk about them because they're so big. And like I said, for me, they're the two standout fighters of this generation. I think Floyd ain't going to fight Manny Pacquiao again. I think the Manny Pacquiao fans would love to see it just because they would love to see Manny get his revenge. But it's not happening. Floyd's not. He's got the win. And he doesn't really want to fight Manny Pacquiao again. There's no need really. If you're Floyd Mayweather, what have you got to gain really fighting Pacquiao again? Pacquiao's a world champion. He's still an active current fighter that's just beaten Thurman recently or a year ago. And Floyd Mayweather is well past his sell-by date. So what does Floyd Mayweather gain out of fighting a guy that's active, fighting a guy that's fighting relevant fighters, still fighting a guy that's beaten current world champions? Whereas Floyd, on the other hand, he hasn't fought anybody with a post since he fought Manny himself. He fought Berto, but Berto was at the end of his career and he wasn't that fighter at that point. And then he fought McGregor, and so really he hasn't really fought a top quality notch opposition since he hasn't fought a boxer since 2015. And the last boxer we fought was Berto, who was at the end of his career. The last meaningful fight he had was against Manny Pacquiao himself. And that was ages ago. That fight passed us long time ago. Long time ago. Right? So if you think Floyd's going to come back 5 years later and fight Manny Pacquiao, you must be crazy. He's not going to. He's not coming back now. He's done. He's not coming back to fight any relevant boxer. He's finished, Floyd Mayweather. And I think if the Manny Pacquiao fans still have an inkling that Mayweather Pacquiao, it's not happening. Mayweather is not fighting Manny Pacquiao. And I kind of knew that. Listen. I was just when I did videos about it a year ago or so, I was more hopeful than realistic the fight was gonna happen, just because of the fact that I thought that if there's ridiculous money, you never know with Floyd. But then as soon as the time kept dragging on, I just kind of felt like Mayweather was playing with the fans, because Mayweather knows that if he talks about him and Pacquiao, people would love that fight to happen. People would love to, even now, people would love to see it, and it'd be a massive payday for both. But I just think Floyd Mayweather could make so much money fighting MMA guys and fighting those guys. Why would he want to fight someone like Pacquiao, who's still relevant, who's still a quality fighter, still a world level fighter, when Mayweather hasn't fought anybody for 5 years? It would be crazy for Mayweather to come back and fight Pacquiao. It wouldn't even be wise, because like I said, Manny Pacquiao is just beaten he beat a current world champion a year ago in Thurman, which people thought he would lose because they thought Thurman was one of the top welterweights, and Manny Pacquiao beat him. So Floyd Mayweather, who's past it, who didn't look great against McGregor, right, and hasn't fought for 5 years in a competitive boxing fight, I don't think he has any chance of winning that fight. And I think if you look at his comments, he says my faculties are more important to me than anything. But he's basically trying to say that obviously I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt now, because for me, I'm not competing at that level anymore. I'm no longer competing with any boxers. He's basically said in his interview that I don't want to fight any more boxers. I'm not interested in fighting any more boxers. If I have to do exhibitions at MMA fighter. Now, one thing I will say about Floyd Mayweather is the fact that I think Floyd Mayweather is a great self-promoter. He's managed to make himself a superstar. But one thing about Floyd Mayweather, and I when I see him promoting his fighters, the problem is Floyd Mayweather is a legend and he's achieved so much and he's made so much money, more money than any fighter in probably the history of the sport. He always comes back to making it about himself. And that's the difference between a top promoter and Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is a great promoter because Floyd Mayweather is just Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather's got such a big name, and if Tank just hangs around with Floyd Mayweather, there's going to be promotion of the event because Floyd Mayweather is attached to it. Because Floyd Mayweather is that big a star that the fact that he's attached to something is massive. But I just think when you look at other promoters like Arum, Eddie Hearn, they don't make it all about themselves because they've not had a boxing career like Mayweather. They're nowhere near as successful as a boxer as Mayweather was, right? Mayweather achieved more than, like I said, his record is unblemished. He's made more money than any boxer in history, right? So I feel like when he's promoting his own fighters, he kind of makes it about himself because there isn't any boxer in history that can really compare to the way he's played the business. You know, the way he's minimized risk and maximized reward. The way he's done that, he's played the boxing game brilliantly, better than any fighter in the history of the game. He's played it better than anybody. That's not necessarily what fight fans like to see and what fight fans like, and that's why Floyd Mayweather is probably not the most liked champion because of those things. The fact that he used to minimize risk and maximize reward. Floyd Mayweather is not always adhered to the fans because of that reason. However, he's still a great fighter, a great technician, managed to make a whole heap of money. But I just think when it comes to promoting his own fighters, I just think he makes it about himself a lot. Whereas Pacquiao, for example, Pacquiao's a lot more humble. Pacquiao wouldn't. If I reckon Pacquiao will be a good promoter because again he would have the same appeal that Floyd does, where the fact that he's attached to it would make it a big fight or big event or give his fighter a leg up. But I just don't think Pacquiao would make it about himself. However, Floyd Mayweather's a better self-promoter than Pacquiao, and what I mean by that, he's got his mouth. You know, like I said, Manny Pacquiao doesn't say a lot. Floyd Mayweather, you know, he's unbelievable trash talker when he wants to be, and unbelievable at promoting things when he wants to be. He's very sharp in that sense, whereas Pacquiao is more quiet. And that's probably why Pacquiao's not been able to reach the level of Mayweather in terms of the fact that, you know, Mayweather is more X-rated in the sense that when I mean X-rated, I mean like he's more not PC, he's more, you know, brash talk and cocky. That's what Mayweather was, especially early on. Not so much now because he's older, but when he was younger, you know, the way he used to trash talk, and he was brilliant. You know, when he fought Pacquiao, he didn't really do any trash talking because he knew it ain't going to work on this guy. But when you see Floyd Mayweather, when he fought like Maidana, for example, he got under their skin. You know, Floyd Mayweather with certain fighters used to trash talk. With certain fighters, he wouldn't. Because like Cotto, he didn't do much trash talking with Cotto because he knew that it wouldn't have any effect on Cotto, right? With Canelo, he did a little bit because he knew this guy's young. Let me try to get under in his skin a little bit. So Mayweather used to trash talk when he felt like Oscar De La Hoya. He did a lot of trash talking with Oscar De La Hoya, but he knew he would be able to get under Oscar De La Hoya's skin, and he did. Oscar De La Hoya wanted to kill him when they fought. But Floyd Mayweather knew which guy to trash talk again. And again, he did a lot of trash talking. Because again, Floyd Mayweather knew who he wanted to get under their skin, or who he could affect, who he could get under their skin. And Pacquiao, Cotto, these guys weren't those guys. Floyd Mayweather knew exactly what he was doing in and outside the ring. He was brilliant. But in terms of this Pacquiao fight, it's not happening. Pacquiao is going to still carry on fighting killers. And Pacquiao was totally the opposite to Mayweather. Pacquiao was a guy that didn't care about the reward. He maximized risk, right? And probably didn't care as much as he should have done about the reward. Because Pacquiao was just a guy that just went in with everyone and anyone. That's why Pacquiao's got losses on his record, because he fought everyone and he didn't care what time. He didn't look, oh no, I'll wait for this guy to get older. He'll just jump in, move up so many weight classes, jump in with anyone. That's what Pacquiao did. And that's why that strategy isn't always going to be successful, because you're fighting killers after killers after killers and someone's going to get you. And a lot of people got Pacquiao because of the fact that Pacquiao was fighting killers after killers after killers. And it takes, and that kind of approach also takes a toll on you as well, because if you're fighting guys in their peak and the prime continues back to back, they're going to be tough fights. There's going to be wars, and you're going to have a lot of damage in those fights, right? Look at the Marquez fight. Look how brutal those fights were for Pacquiao. For both guys, but those take a lot away from you. They take a lot of years out of you. So yeah, Manny Pacquiao is a legend. Floyd Mayweather is a legend, but I don't think that fight's going to happen again. And to be honest with you, I think we'll all agree, whether you're a Pacquiao fan or Mayweather fan, the fight was terrible. The fight was crap. Let's be real. The fight was so crap the first time. It isn't worth watching that crap again, because it was terrible. But again, both legends, both deserve respect, both achieved greatness in their careers. What do you guys make of Floyd Mayweather saying, I'm not fighting Manny Pacquiao again? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.